Welcome to the podcast Journey of an Aesthete. And this is an episode I'm really excited about because we have a fabulous, excellent guest, Marc Anthony Mendez. And Anthony Mendez is here. And I believe I met you through Eddie, correct? Eddie Abreu. That's how we met originally.
Yes, we have definitely connected through Abreu as well as a great and wise friend that I'm blessed to have connections with, as well as
Right.
networking with you, of course.
This is fantastic. So originally, I think the idea was to do an episode where I guess you discuss your philosophy of dress or men's fashion or clothes. We're both into clothes, as you can see. You look great today. You have a great white shirt on. You're in a beautiful home, and I don't know really where to begin. I think we can begin since talking about since we first started talking about clothes. So when did you become interested first in dress or wearing clothes or dressing up? When did this occur, and the time, and what happened with that? If you don't mind getting into that.
The shift in ever-changing forms of fashion began when I was 17, 4 years after my advocacy speech at the Hilton Hotel about the District 75 inclusion program.
Yeah.
And this new empowering feeling of wearing formal attire gave me a significant presence to my being. I felt powerful. I liked wearing suits because they add an extra shine to your being that brings both class and boldness.
Yep.
I was bullied a lot in middle school and through my sophomore year of high school, I was an underdog that wanted to be recognized.
Uh-huh.
I craved power.
Hmm.
The power to change my reputation and to change my own fate.
Yep.
As an individual who got bullied and belittled because of my neurodiversity, I desired my own retribution. I
Huh.
craved even more power and ever so prominence. I
Uh-huh.
wanted to be formidable, sovereign, and respected. It was because of my pain that I pushed myself to be better than anyone else in the class. I also wanted to be a better self,
Uh-huh.
a self that is confident, bold, and valued. And so I pushed myself to be better, as well as become more confident in my own decision making and in my own ability. This was my way of retribution and the interlude to my own sense of style.
Uh-huh.
Public speaking, reading, writing, acting, fitness, and indeed, dapper men's fashion taught me that all that I needed to defy fate and to recreate myself as a bold, rash, and significant man. It did not stop there though,
Right.
because after getting acquainted with my sister's friend named Nicholas, I was taught even more innovative yet traditional perspectives on men's fashion. Nicholas expanded my interest in dapper men's fashion even further as I learned more about utilizing unique and bold color combinations
Right.
in each outfit that is being created. He introduced me, my apologies, to the smart casual variation of dapper clothes, which allowed me to tone down the formality while still looking upscaled.
Yeah. Well, that brings to mind the question about it. What does fashion in general mean to you? In other words, in terms of have you changed your own style? Of course, you already answered, I think, some of that because you did change your style because you were influenced by Nicholas. But have you changed your clothing style in the past 10 years at all, or anything else that you want to say about that? Or
I have indeed changed and ever so evolved in my own fashion sense to this day. In
uh-huh.
my opinion, fashion is the creativity of inspired time periods combined with both culture and subculture that brings out more of who you are as an
Right,
individual of distinguishment.
right,
Each piece of clothing can indeed be both added and subtracted depending on your own vision, as importantly as the appropriate occasion. In my own experience of forming different debonair outfits, style is the finished statement that represents your hobbies, interests,
right.
inspirations, and hope for both your present and your own future. The difference in my personal lifestyle and expressions is when I switch up between smart casual to business casual.
Uh-huh.
Thankfully, my job does not require formal attire as it may intimidate the youth that I support in my line of work.
Right.
I am a youth peer advocate.
Uh-huh.
What this field does is that we mentor youth in their communities and show them life lessons, independent skills, and having fun with the youth we support.
Right.
So having a comfortable smart casual to business casual is a good route, not only for my own career, but for most occasions I have in my life.
Right. Right.
To further answer this question, if I am in a good mood and I would like to express my own mood, I would kick it up a notch by dressing either business casual or even formal. If
Right.
I wish to make a statement, I would create an outfit based off of the statement that I wish to make. For instance, dressing an outfit reminiscent of vintage European, historical military, rockabillys, hipsters,
Wow.
musketeers, and cavaliers, Shakespeare, Regency, Victorian, Zorro, Dieselpunk, Steampunk, Uncharted, Persona 5, Bayonetta, the Roaring Twenties, and 70s and 80s disco. I
Wow.
have indeed changed up my sense of style over the past 15 years, and I'm ever
Wow.
so proud of my creative mind for doing so.
I mean, that's fantastic. You mentioned so many influences, and it's just it's really it's impressive. I mean, I'm, you know, again, I'm 56. I just turned 56, and of course, my relationship to clothing.
Happy birthday, my brother.
Well, thank you, but it's going to be very different. You know, growing up in the 70s and 80s, different than the 90s and 2000s, a different culture. I was wondering, what do you think is the most significant in background in terms of the element of significance that inform your present day life, whether it's autism or whether anything else that you feel is the most, you know, kind of significant to you, or what do you, if that makes sense?
I was diagnosed at 18 months with autism spectrum disorder
Uh-huh.
with no functional language. Yet I was still able to communicate in my own way
Yeah.
to eventually find my own functional behavioral language in which it did emerge.
Hmm.
Then I was able to communicate my needs.
Yep.
I spoke verbally because I gained the confidence ever so needed to do so.
Yeah.
As a youth, I learned to use my language to be a voice for the voiceless,
Yep.
while learning to use my language to be a self-advocate and public motivational speaker. And in my own opinion, confidence is existential to our free
Mm,
will.
it's
The
true.
free will to control our future, our goals, and our destiny. Upon getting diagnosed with ASD, I began to feel a sense of creativity, a
Yeah.
type of creativity that is surreal. In my own opinion, I feel that only an exceptional few possess something like a blessing and at times a test. After the miracle of language emerged, I began using words that I have learned from various places and use sentences that are profound and elegant. Elegance is what I wish to achieve, and public speaking gave me that chance to be passionate, a chance to lead, and a
Mhm.
chance to live up to my legend. When I received my award for school excellence, I thanked all of those who foresaw my potential. As I grew up and became wiser, I too foresaw my own talent of public speaking and
Mhm.
went all across New York City to share my story and to advocate for people with disabilities and or learning differences.
Right.
Who knew that I would be doing this?
Yeah. It's
And as
fantastic.
a I appreciate you. As a public speaker, I have foresaw my potential as a leader.
Mhm.
From the experiences of a leader, I've learned for myself how to solve problems and learned how to work together with different people.
Interesting.
I even learned how to strategize through a problem by using different tactics and life skills to both solve and teach myself through experience. What is a leader without the support whom the leader serves?
Right.
I learned to support and help my loved ones through the philosophies of leadership. And as a leader, I love and value my support as they love me as a well valued individual.
Wow.
The reality constantly changes. Its politics, its people,
Mhm.
and the geographical patterns make it brash to terrain over. As the strongest as the survival remains prominent philosophically, I felt a passion for survival for the sake of living to see my own goals fulfilled. There were many times that I wished to give up. I wanted to sleep in my own bed and
Hmm.
pass away right then and there. Yet my spirit tells me, you can. The only way to make it is to adapt without changing your beliefs
Mhm.
and your own spiritualities.
Yep.
By the grace of the universe and my own support team, I can adapt to almost anything and prepare myself for the possible changes that I foresee. For my higher sake, I can improve
Yeah.
and I can be better. As I live this life, my consciousness grows rapidly almost daily.
Right.
And the more self-improvement and the more self-care I do, the faster my consciousness grows, as with anyone. Even when I was growing up, I began feeling a sense of divinity around me,
Huh.
from the earth and to the universe, my inner world, and to my whole being. God invited me the opportunity to gain providence through having a relationship with God and knowing God through thoughts, dreams, visions, and miracles. I've seized the opportunity and I never felt lonely all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized as time progressed and grew wiser that I am all one and not
Mm-hmm.
alone.
Right.
From God's grace, I am able to be intuitive and have a profound sense of individuality. As a matter of fact, my own consciousness is what allows me to achieve the goals that I have achieved thus far. I am blessed to be around God and with God, my family, and my friends. For eccentricity is the loud yet curious jurisdiction of an individual's sense of reality interactions. Eccentricity is a creative yet deeply personalized sense of becoming
That's
and
true.
how we create reality within this bigger reality.
Yeah.
In other words, we are all the fabrications of dreams that
Huh.
are coming true in this dream of the planet Earth.
Well, that's the most beautiful. I mean, I have to say, I mean, I'm very moved, and it's so, what you're saying is so articulate, you know, and you're not only talking about, of course, your own life, but you're talking about your faith and your spiritual matters, and which are very important to people, and I resonate with what you're saying. But you look really great today. You're wearing a beautiful white shirt, and it just makes me think of what is the clothing? Do you have a typical clothing you wear on a daily basis? Or I know that you said that you have to modify your clothing to not intimidate people, and I don't, or not, not or in other words, to dress for the occasion. And
Yes,
do
yes.
you mind talking more about? Because I wear the same stuff every day. I'm kind of not really thinking about others in that way, but you're sensitive to these things. And talk a little bit about how you do that, or how you dress on a daily basis, or anything that comes to your mind. Or
I mostly wear smart casual due to my job and objectives throughout the day.
okay,
Yet, depending on the occasion, I do wear business casual to formal attire. Occasions where I would go business casual to formal are when I am socializing at a fancy establishment in the city, upstate, or in another state entirely, at a party, for
right,
instance, a family reunion, holidays, going to church, job interviews, and when I'm going to be recorded on camera. My sources would be Pinterest, my saved selfies on my iPhone, or the memorized color combinations that Nicholas has taught me.
that's great. Do you have a favorite garment? Like, do you have a favorite jacket or a favorite suit or anything like that, or anything that comes to your mind? Or
I do have a few favorites to wear, especially certain undergarments that are beneficial to any man's wardrobe.
hmm.
For instance, I'm referring to my military shirt.
Shirt stay.
Yes, I am referring to my military shirt stay garters
Yeah,
with no slip clips on them. Since I do wear a lot of dress shirts, they do keep the shirt tucked in all day.
right.
Plus, no muffin top.
Yeah,
Another personal favorite would be the neckerchief, specifically worn like Fred from the Scooby-Doo animation franchise.
okay.
They are clean to wear because the neckerchief prevents sweat stains from reaching your dress shirt. Not to mention that it covers the undershirt as well as the added benefit of kicking up the outfit, whether it would include a collared shirt, t-shirt, polo, or short sleeve Henley.
Yeah.
And I know that some of my friends and family make fun of me for wearing these, but
Hmm.
they truly keep an outfit not only functional but also looking clean, professional. And like you and me, we really do care about how we look because how we look is another form of self-care.
It is. Yeah.
And it really is. And I
Yeah.
just wish that more people would realize the value of
Yeah.
themselves. And when they do, they can
Absolutely.
act and appear like it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so another attire, I'm sorry.
No. I was going to agree with you. I would say that's very true.
No, I appreciate you. Another attire that I love to wear from time to time would be wearing suits and ties.
Sure.
They boost my self-esteem and give me a debonair look in the mirror. If I love what I see, I feel positive and an empowering mood toward myself. I feel different when I wear a nice business casual or formal suit, especially when you have that memorized color wheel for a colorful yet elegant combination.
Yeah.
Quite recently, I have invested in formal black dress gloves with touchscreen capability, which I paired with vintage gumball rings from the 1940s through 50s and so on. And it just so happens that I have reinvented a classy yet classic look for myself. The gumball rings stand out in my hands and further pop out the color combination of a business casual and or formal outfit, which can be a great over-the-top combination. I am investing in this look because temperatures are cooling down, and they are a rather unique touch-up to any business casual and formal outfit. Even when you pair up leather driving gloves with stretch rings, you will not only get a rugged, classy appearance, but they will secure the fit of your fingers on the glove. If you are to invest in the ringed glove look, definitely be sure to invest in glove fingertip touchscreen stickers due to our phones being touchscreen, of course. Or leather fingerless driving gloves paired with the stretch rings.
Yeah.
I also wanted to mention Jabot Ravel. I'm sorry, I do stutter because I am a little bit nervous about this. So
nothing to be nervous about.
Thank you. Speaking of reinventing classic looks, I also wanted to mention Jabot ruffles on both collars and sleeves for a bolded look. A look that a brave few can dare to pull off. Anything that may represent something like a suit, vintage dapper style, I like to wear.
I mean, you have enormous information. I mean, you in a way, I mean, I've been into this stuff for 30 years, but you're bringing a different, in other words, you really have gotten into the details of, the technical details of different styles of dress over the years and different kinds of things. Do you mind if I show you something? Hold on. I'll just hold that 1 minute. I got something I want to go grab and show you because it might interest you. No. I don't have a lot of vintage things, but I had this hat from 1957. Look at that. I thought that would interest you, from Locke, London. It's got some water damage. I need to get if you know any in New York, any hat people that could repair things, that would be it. But this is the only thing I can think of. It's the oldest thing I have, but you really go to town. You really invested in dress gloves. And I must confess, I never really went the evening wear route. Like I have a proper dinner suit. I have a tuxedo, but I don't really have all the accessories like opera gloves. And it sounds like you've gotten into that stuff, or you've taken a little bit of you've dipped your toe into some of that. And I appreciate and respect that, that you've done that.
Thank you.
Because not everybody gets into it like that, Do you have a favorite color?
Yes, I do actually. It is always best to keep a semi-open mind about different color combinations because some colors complement really well together, while a few are best paired elsewhere. For example, orange and gray. However, I do like the color purple because it is a nice color that in historical times represents royalty, eccentricity, and divinity.
Yeah.
When you look up the 7 chakras of the Kundalini, the color purple represents the third eye chakra. And this chakra represents consciousness, creativity, intuition, dreaming, and wisdom. Thus, our third eye, our treasured third eye, will never fall into the hands of the enemy. In my opinion, it is a nice color that fits both women and men alike. You can also make astonishing combinations with the color purple that is interesting yet positively experimental to pull off. I even went as far as to purchase a purple 3-piece suit 2 months ago.
Oh, Mark, I would love. Do you have that to show the 3-piece? I mean, don't no. I'd love to see that.
It's in
hangar?
my home in Brooklyn.
Oh, it's supposed you're not in Brooklyn. Well, that's what's great about being in New York. You got different locations. You go here, but it's. I'm gonna love to see someday see a picture of that or something. No.
I mean,
No,
perhaps in the next episode.
yeah, or you could send it when we do the. We do like a for every episode we do a really nice kind of inside the episode. You know, where we have text and and maybe you could contribute a photo or something. It's to your taste or liking. It's up to you, but it reminds me, what does aesthetics mean to you? Like when you hear that word, you think of the word aesthetics, or what comes to your mind, or what does that mean to you?
So construed aesthetics in my translation is my vision of a specific outfit that I want to wear and pulling it off successfully,
Yeah.
all while being aware of my future occasions and purpose as to why I'm wearing said outfit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Each interpretation of an outfit is mainly in the eyes of both the creator, and the beholder. Of course, shape and shift as you please, however, it is wise that you look up tomorrow's weather forecast, not overinvest in a peculiar fashion piece or wear something that can perhaps even be vulgar, crude, or in a way out of place for a specific occasion.
That's true. Yeah.
And in other words,
Yeah.
proceed with caution and awareness of the public around you. For instance, it is not recommended to wear a chicken suit to a wedding or worse, wear bright colors to a funeral.
Sure.
Of course, be creative. Have fun experimenting with your outfits. Just know what and why you are wearing. In order to positively stand out and be individualistic aesthetically, you have to know where, what, why, and how you are going to pull an outfit off.
Mm-hmm.
It is that sweet spot of looking like a regular person, but with the addition of your individualistic style. If you wanted to wear, let's say, a red Henley shirt,
Yeah.
brown and gold belt, green corduroy pants, and
Yeah.
brown Borg boots paired with World War One British calf high
Oh,
heel gaiters,
yeah.
then you can because it's both appropriate for casual occasions and a 70-80 degree forecast would permit it.
Yeah, that reminds me, as a side thought, I just thought of this, that weather plays a big role, doesn't it? Like I know in my own clothing, especially as climate change and just the unpredictability and the volatility of weather, and hot days and cold days and the warming, that certainly plays a role in my life in terms of more than other things, I must say, in choosing what to wear. And that reminds me of that, right? It's kind of one of those things that's a big topic on everybody's mind these days,
Yeah, especially the ever-changing weather climate,
Yeah.
which can confuse fashion enthusiasts like us, and um, it's definitely crazy, unfortunate events these days,
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
which I can pray that things can get better
Yeah.
for us.
Absolutely. Is there a person or people in your life who inspired you or continue to inspire you to have confidence in dressing in the meaning of clothing? Um,
There are a special few that consciously and subconsciously inspired how I dress
yeah.
and continue to inspire me to further upgrade my wardrobe and accessories.
Yeah.
It mainly started with my mother,
Oh, wow.
who in my earliest youth selected preppy outfits and ensured that I appeared both well dressed and smelled luxurious.
Huh.
I remember my mother dressing me up like a little gent with the side parts, dress shirts, and even giving me this vintage black suede Sean John varsity jacket to garner some attention.
Huh.
And she even blessed me with my cross pendant that's been with me since I was 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, looking back on my old photos and comparison them to her old photos, I may have gotten my classy style from her.
Wow.
When I became 13 years old, my father blessed me with his old ring.
Wow.
It was a legitimate gold ring with a black base and filigree air vents on the sides.
Interesting.
It was an elegant addition to my right ring finger. 7 years later, when I was a sophomore in high school, my father was organizing his room and he had a watch collection. Since he wanted to give a watch away, I saw a unique vintage Puerto Rican watch with golden timelines in an ivory background. My father knew that I embraced my culture, and so blessed me with the addition of the watch, adorned on my right wrist.
Wow.
I was happy as well as proud of my family.
Sure, of course.
My cross, my ring, and my
Yeah,
Puerto Rican watch reminded me that I belonged to a powerful family,
absolutely.
a family that worked tremendously hard to achieve living in a good and safe neighborhood.
Yep.
The gold on me and within me stated that I am descended from greatness,
Yeah.
greatness that is the value of consistent love, fortitude,
Mm.
and resilience. Being inspired by fashion is a gift that keeps on giving. Growing up as an advocate for people with disabilities and or learning differences, I grew to love suits. You get taken more seriously with a suit, and surprisingly enough, there are many color variations of a suit so that you can have the option to be more stylish as well.
True. It's true.
After watching the film The Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio, I related to the film to my desire to be bigger than what I am, to improve and to implode. I slicked my curls back and parted my left side the same fancy way Leonardo did. And the classic rockabilly side part slick back pompadour is a personal timeless look that I wear quite often, even in my casual days.
Yeah.
Even when my hair grows out for a month, it still looks like a fresh haircut due to having hair on the sides and back.
Right.
In my opinion, fades and skin fades can be a lot of money to maintain and grows back quickly after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so during my time in high school, I knew a great inclusion teacher named Mr. Marks, who would sometimes dress in these colorful, dapper outfits that reminded me of power and prestige. I wanted to look like that.
Right.
And so every Friday, I would dress dapper just like Mr. Marks.
Hold that thought. It occurs to me. So Mr. Marks was in a way like Nicholas, right? He was sort of as much.
Yeah, in a sense, he was.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
And
So
my friend,
yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I appreciate you. At my friend Christopher's birthday party, I met a wise and particular individual whom we know as Eddie Abreu.
Yep. Eddie Abreu.
He not only appeared upper class, but he kept the traditions of chivalry upon his personality.
Interesting.
Upon his first interacting with me, I learned about the value of self-education, as well as the benefit of intellectualism. He is also an incredibly talented individual, not only with his sociability, but also through his guitar. I was amazed and puzzled at the same time that someone in our generation can be so profound and so philosophical.
Yeah.
Being that I too ask questions and think philosophically, I immediately became friends and learned much from him. At the birthday party, we had a meaningful conversation, and I said,
Right.
"How do you know all this stuff?" And with a smile, he said, "I read a lot."
Yeah.
Since he said this to me, I seized each opportunity to read any self-help book I could get my hands on and proceeded to educate myself as he did. During my time in my sophomore year in college in 2018, I began to work with my now former community rehabilitation worker, Catherine.
Yeah.
In December, she wanted to buy me a gift.
Oh wow.
As strange as it sounded due to our professional association, I accepted her offer. I remember seeing a new kind of hat.
Oh wow.
Yep, a hat that I have not seen people wear before.
Okay.
And when I saw this hat, it took me back to a time where I first began my journey of advocacy in dapper men's fashion. From receiving this gift, my apologies, it resparked my inspiration of wearing formal wear and the new addition of hats. Since Catherine blessed me with my homework hat, I began wearing my hats almost everywhere. I love the compliments I received from people who noticed my talents.
Yep.
So as I look for meaningful work, I invested in my own sense of work by creating unique color combinations for each hat-based color. I even imagined which shape, color, and decorative pieces would make my hat stand out the most. With this newfound talent, I am sure to enhance my individuality and be my own unique self. From then on, my own love of hats began to grow. I researched many types of hats in various styles to the point where I would like to one day open my own business modernizing the most elegant of classical hats.
Yeah, you should.
I have about 139 hat concepts that I wish to somehow bring to life. Around the same time, I have come to meet my sister's college classmate and friend Nicholas. He was the one that showed me how to experiment with color combinations and different accessories to work with. He too is an absolutely insightful individual with humbleness, humility, and classic experimentation. He inspired me to create uniquely colorful outfits that I continue to wear today.
Yep.
From time to time, we like to travel to Long Island, New Jersey, and more locally in New York to find different vintage and thrift shops, as well as to travel to different vegan cafes and restaurants. Fun fact, he inspired me to pursue the vegan dietary lifestyle.
Wow.
Because of his innovative nature, we talk about men's fashion, vegan health, philosophy,
Right.
spirituality, and experiments with different fashion accessory combinations. We also share memes, GIFs, and media recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking outside of the box, especially the box we call a society,
Right.
the road is less traveled, yet traveled with authentic people.
Yep.
From humble beginnings to synchronicities, I
Yep.
received even more inspiration from not only real life, but the inner digitizations of individual
Characters. Yeah.
humble beginnings to synchronicities. I received even more inspiration from not only real life, but the inner digitizations of individualistic characters.
Right.
My first inspiration was the anonymous trench coat wearer and wearing all black.
Wow.
As biased as it sounds, the coat made me feel mysterious,
Mm-hmm.
different amongst the shadows as I walked without being seen. The look was complete with a black brimmed beret or a black fedora. Growing up traveling to different states, camping, and adventuring, I began playing the Uncharted video game series and looking up to the main character, Nathan Drake.
Huh. Yeah. No. No.
What was cool about him was not only his phenomenal climbing ability and appreciation for global history,
Yeah.
but his iconic brown leather shoulder holster with a notebook pouch that he wears in the series. It looked so cool and so badass that I wanted to wear my own holster that holds my iPhone and wallet.
Yep.
And unfortunately, due to the times we live in, as well as firearms being frowned upon, I was forbidden to wear them in New York City public,
Wow.
fear that I would get murdered, arrested,
Oh, wow.
and or harassed by the public and the police.
Huh.
I could, however, wear it upstate camping, hiking, or hopefully in different states.
Huh.
And so 5 years ago, playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which I grew up with the Epic series, there was one character like my previous inspirations, like Venom and Captain Hook, that stood out from the crowd.
Yeah.
Bayonetta. I saw myself in her, cunning, quirky, and dramatic in her own way. She was bullied because she was different from her peers and teachers.
Right.
Yet, with self-love, she
Mm.
defied fate, embraced chaos, and became relentless in the pursuit of the truth, vengeance, and climatic power. Also, and the way she dresses in her games are rather unique, and the jabot ruffles on her wrists remind me of both Captain Hook and the historical time periods in which the style originated. In other words, she is the extra quality to my higher self that is self-love, which is believing in oneself that flourishes beautifully with passionate rage, eccentricity, strength, wisdom, sheer will, and the pursuits of truth, vengeance, and happiness. Synonymously with the pursuit of truth and vengeance while playing the same game, another peculiar character became playable as downloadable content. The character, the Joker.
Hmm.
As I was mistaken, this is a new kind of Joker,
Hmm.
a romanticized, mysteriously quiet being that dons a mask reminiscent of the Venetian masquerades
Wow.
and a long frock coat of the same occasion. He donned red gloves and blazed at great neck speeds through his calf-high-heeled pointed boots. His soul is blazed in red as his soul's black wings and waistcoat complemented the red suit. The neckwear is uncoincidentally jabot ruffles.
Mm-hmm.
The soul also donned a masquerade mask as his top hat disguised. I'm sorry. The soul that donned a masquerade mask as his top hat disguised his volcano top,
Yeah.
containing the soul's fiery rage against all social injustice.
Mm-hmm.
That very soul is a glimpse of what happens when I set my own when I set my own soul on a fiery passion for activism,
Mm.
eccentricity, and noble yet humble heroism. The Persona video game series, specifically the fifth installment, inspired my fashion sense even further. In my opinion, Venetian masquerade masks are an interesting spectacle because they can appear not only in masquerade and Halloween occasions,
Hmm.
but they can also potentially be a part of formal outfits when you are planning to go to a dance party, nightclubbing, cosplaying, and fashion photo ops. And regardless, I like how Persona 5 is inspired by the masquerade parties and the personal message the game's themes teach me.
I mean, that's yeah, Mask Venetian and all the those are such a beautiful tradition. Those forms of accessories. I mean, you know a lot about it, and it's nice to hear somebody again this research these things kind of deeply. It's really great. Um, how do you feel about to me it sometimes seems like there's a tension in society because people, a lot of the general public, if we're going to, for the sake of argument, just say there is something like a general public, all the millions of people or millions of people, they have a curiosity about dressing up and they maybe find style fascinating, but for themselves, they reject it and want to be casual, want to fit in. So there's kind of a little bit of a ambivalence among people about these things. How do you feel about this attraction to, well-made clothing, and at the same time not wanting to do it or the desire to blend in? Any thoughts about that kind of social tension?
I like to personally think that people are becoming more open-minded about
Mm.
business casual and or formal fashion synonymously with the vintage that are becoming popular in different cultures. And when you wear your own brand of fashion, people do get inspired and gain interest in what you wear.
Yep.
This in turn encourages me to continue experimenting with my own brand as well as continuing to beat to my own drum.
Yeah.
As much as I would like to show people the value of their imaginations and creativity, I cannot ever force people to my way of perception or thinking in general. If
Right.
one or even a few wish to remain amongst the majority for the sake of association and personal void fulfillment, then their happiness is freely decided. I also do understand that some people are not able to afford quality clothes at the moment, and that's completely okay.
Hmm.
We all have bills to pay, children to feed, and even have to prioritize different goals that require financial support. Even for myself, as much as I wish to further invest in my fashion further, I cannot because of my own bills and responsibilities. If you can put even just a little cash in your desired fashion pieces and feel great wearing it, then that's all you need to look your best and simultaneously feel your best.
I'm just curious. I was diagnosed only 5 years ago, at like the age of 50, as a middle-aged man with autism. You
Wow.
were from the very beginning. It sounds like as a baby. You said it's just several months. How does autism show up in your life and express itself? And what is your observation? If you had to say, as an autistic person, what would you like most to communicate with the non-autistic, or explain to them, or what you feel you want to express about that?
Well, before I answer your question, I just wanted to welcome you to the neurodiverse community of learning differences and many artistic creativity creators like yourself. And so I welcome you from the bottom of my heart to becoming a new member. And it does not matter how late you are diagnosed, you are always a new member and you're always welcome to the community.
Excellent.
Thank you for disclosing yourself and disclosing to me.
Yep.
My relationship with autism was strained at first. It was hard to control, and because of autism, I was labeled, ridiculed, mocked, beaten, and hated. I deeply hated myself because I was sown a false notion that I was dumb, useless, and amount to nothing. Not really at the same time, but more importantly, when I needed it most,
Mm.
I had my sheer will to be better than my past self. And additionally, I had my support team that saw me, the person, not my autism.
Yep.
Because of my support, they made me feel like I had the potential and push for both myself and my support team, and for the people I love and care about.
Mhm.
As a result, I achieved symbiosis with my autism spectrum
Mm-hmm.
and using it to the best of my talents. The journey to achieve the journey to achieve symbiosis with your disability and or learning difference or any unfortunate circumstance is to embrace your circumstance, your
Mm-hmm.
past,
Absolutely.
changing your perspective, and allow yourself to work with your disability and or learning differences and or any negative notion, and instead helping people to understand that we all have potential and to be
Mm-hmm.
given a chance to work, to play, and to create a life of creativity, eccentricity, and wonder. Thus, you have the absolute power to change entire generations before you.
Wow.
This is my truth to share with anyone who wishes to learn about autism. This vivid, beautiful pain of birthful emotions is what happens when you decapitate a piece of your soul into your talent.
Mm-hmm.
You give birth to consciousness, now possessed by a unison of body, mind, and absolute consciousness, embodied by natural thoughts and a humane golden heart. What I also realize is that the more intrigued I am about writing my experiences, it's miraculously and psychologically healing me.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I have not realized until my new beginning is that I'm praying that being on the autism spectrum can truly help others.
Mm-hmm.
I realize now that the purpose of having autism is to help heal others as well.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe that I went from a child that had no speech to a man that is able to type any kind of beautiful art through the
Yep.
darkest depths of the night, ever determined to aid humanity through my own joy and through my own pain, like sunshine
Mm-hmm.
and rain. The truth is, there is no end to anything, not even physical life,
Mm-hmm.
only beginnings. I have my battle scars, yes, especially from my past. I loved and I have lost.
Mm-hmm.
I gave and I took.
Yep.
I spoke and I shut. I am glad for my experiences, for I am uniquely beautiful because of the sharp lessons. I shall forgive my past. However, I shall remember the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
I know now why.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was brought forth this blessing and curse, I became a better person, more humble, and ultimately passionate. This is my truth to share with anyone who wishes to learn about autism.
Mm-hmm.
Nature is vital to our health, so was time.
Right.
Time showed me that with hard work and determination, I became that change maker and the voice for the voiceless. I want to continue to deliver hope, peace, and love. You, yes, you are my humanity and the sole reason why I fight for justice and fairness for all. I am more than ready to continue achieving success and taking on new obstacles that dare stand in the way of my destiny. There is only one path to victory: improvise,
Hmm.
adapt, and overcome. Why? For it does not matter what deck of cards you may have been dealt, there is always a way to win.
That's beautiful. I mean, I just want to, just so beautiful. What you say. It may, at the end of if you don't mind, after we go through some of these questions, and if I play a piece of music for you at the end of the show, if you don't mind, at the end, if it's up to you, if it, something to look forward to here at my piano. Um, what does New York City mean to you? The city where you live and currently live.
Unfortunately, we all have grown up to believe that this apple of a city is a fruitful place of prosperity and American dreams. The
Mm,
core of this apple we live on has now become rotten and undesirable to feel any kind of nourishment and nurturement. It is uncoincidental that a city that is rumored to never sleep goes crazy from all the political and social unrest that has been going on for generations.
right.
There are dark times where I do doubt my own ability to make change in this corrupted city.
Mm-hmm.
Would my kindness to people ever spark a few people to change? Is my job serving the highest good it can possibly be? How many people are truly tired of the same old division? How can we further reach out to people to free themselves from their social, financial, and intellectual conformities? There are many questions to ask, yet fortunately, a mustard seed-sized hope would one day regrow into a new tree, with fresh new apples filled with nourishment, nurturing even the most desperate of people. As this new tree grows taller, and more apples take from, may people also share the fruits of their labor, increasing knowledge, kindness, and humility. We, as good people, must plant the seeds if we ever want to see this city in its former glory once more.
Well, Mark, I'm going to go over here and play your little song composed for you in the moment now. It'll only be a couple minutes, real short, and then we'll go back to, I'm just kind of moved a little bit. I don't know what you think or what you want to hear, but I got,
No, I really appreciate the musical piece, and thank you for listening.
Oh, this is beautiful. So I don't know what's going to happen, but it'll be inspired by your soul and your person. Kind of the That's that. That's for you. I don't I don't know how these things are gonna come out, but
It definitely. I'm getting Disney Fantasia vibes from it, and I actually appreciate it. I love Disney Fantasia.
yeah, I mean it's been a while since I've watched that. Well, what music do you listen to the most? That reminds me. What is the music that you're kind of
So like before, I like to listen to a lot of 70s, 80s, and sometimes ambient rhythms that can stem from these eras, and even the early 90s as well.
Mm-hmm.
I also like to listen to certain soundtracks from certain video games and films from my youth. I do not necessarily have a favorite type of music to listen to, but rather
Yeah.
my mood and emotions guide my playlist to what I want to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
When I listen to desired songs, I visualize vivid scenarios and cinematic sequences in my mind. This is also my most frequent and favorite form of meditation that I partition in.
Do you have any favorite movies, any favorite TV shows that mean something to you, and why or how? Just curious.
Okay. So these days, I personally like to watch films and television shows that are made from the 80s into early 2010s, especially beloved 90s and 2000s films, television shows, and video games that I personally play with growing up with. In my humble opinion,